morning, Interwebs. It is about 6:15 Pacific Standard Time. I have woken up for the day. Got up and stripped the sheets off my bed, put them in the wash, and then went out and got the coffee started. My brother should be here in like 10 to 15 minutes. I'm going to hang out with him for a bit. We were thinking we might make some breakfast while he's here. And then, my mom had offered me some of my dad's clothes, so I'm probably going to take a look at those. And we have to leave for the airport about 1:15 so I have about 4.5, 5 hours to hang out. I guess, let's see, 5.5 hours. I am going to inherit an old phone, so I hope to have that working before I head to the airport. Okay, it's a little after 10. My mom showed me a hose bib that she was dripping just a little bit. They have these kind of weird posts that my dad put in. I pulled out the cutoff riser and put in a new one, and they happened to have a brand new hose bib that was the same as the one that was there, so I put that on too. And things are not dripping anymore. You could already see the wood drying out because it was right in the sun. Then my dad had given my brother a Samsung 7, Galaxy 7, I believe, smartphone a while back, and my brother wasn't using it anymore, so he had offered it to me. So he brought it over to me this morning when I saw him. So I am on the way to the AT&T store to see if I can get them to get it to work for me. In addition to doing that, I am helping my mom out by driving one of her 4 vehicles, because yes, she has too many vehicles to deal with. And I asked her which one I should drive. She goes, well, the Corvette, of course, it needs to be driven. Though I have entered the world of smartphones, and I am vlogging you receiving my call. You can't be heard. You're not on speaker. You see me. I stopped on my way home because that AT&T store, your car is like right outside the window, and I am still a shy vlogger, so I did not stay there. So I pulled in. I pulled in next to the ATM that I used to get cash out at. So I was going to vlog my old ATM. I stopped at this ATM because it is the ATM that I used to deposit my paychecks for my first job at, and thought it was funny to see it. It's still there. Same bank and everything. Okay, there's the car. That is my dad and uncle's car, and they like it a lot. It is fun to drive for like 10 minutes, and then it's like, oh, it's just a normal car. So in driving this car, as I was saying, it's kind of fun to drive for a little bit, and then I go, oh, yeah, I can accelerate really fast to the speed limit, which is usually not very much around here. And then I can't go any faster than that because I'm not willing to go fast enough to get a ticket. So anyways, mostly I keep thinking, you know, in my old beat up car where the wind comes in from the window, it's because it's a junky piece of car, but somehow it's a feature on this car. I always find it amusing to drive like a couple times, and then after about the 4th time I accelerate, it's like, oh, that was enough of that. I can't believe they spent as much as they did on this car. But my uncle has always really liked cars. Not that he works on them or anything, he just really likes them. And so it was something he was able to do when he got the inheritance after my grandparents died. So, and then my dad went in on it with him, and they would share it. My uncle owned a bigger share than my dad, but now they are still switching them, my mom and my uncle, since dad is no longer.
Good morning, Interwebs. It's about 2:15, and it just occurred to me that I hadn't talked to you today. Oops. We're a little out of our usual schedule because, you know, we're missing half our peoples. So I got up at like 9 today, and I immediately got to cutting and dyeing my daughter's hair. Her hair is dyed black, for those of you that are curious. Why? Because there's no reason not to, if that's what she wants to do. I was not allowed to cut or do anything to my hair for a very long time when I was little. And look how I turned out. I cut her hair and I dyed it, and then I took a shower, and then my day just started going. So we did a bunch of stuff this morning. I finally got the vlog up. We've had lunch. I was going to go take a little nap before I need to leave in like 45 minutes to drive to dance. But then I realized I hadn't packed up any of the stuff I need to take to dance for my youngest to do while we're there, because we're going to be at the studio for a couple of hours. So you probably all are also wondering why is it a big deal that you go to dance twice a week? Dance is like 45 minutes away, so there's a decent amount of travel time in addition to the being there. So it's a time commitment, and that's fine, and they really enjoy it, and I enjoy them having the experience. Just sometimes the action of doing the experience can be a little much. But anyways, I'm just trying to make sure that I have everything, you know, like my wallet, and I grabbed my project, which is the thing I was working on last night. I had to grab another skein. I mean, I'm not going to get through this ball, but better safe than sorry, right? Because, heaven forbid I end up without something to do. That'd be terrible. Okay, I'm gonna go and lay down for a few minutes, I think, because I have to drive in the sunshine, and it's going to make me sleepy. And we just had quick cacciatore for lunch, so my belly's all full and happy. So, I'm going to set my alarm so that I can go and wake up children's when the time is right. And I'm going to go take a rest.
Okay, I have made it to Denver. I have about an hour and a half layover, so I'm sitting here. I just gotten that new phone set up today, so I am starting to go through it a little bit, as well as texting Kendra back and forth a little bit. I was able to get a seat right near the window. That plane is the one that would be at my gate, though that is not my plane yet. We had In-N-Out for lunch before my mom took me to the airport, so I'm actually fairly full. I was happy to have my son visit my mom. It was something that I had always done. Well, I shouldn't say I'd always done. I got to do twice. I got to go visit my grandfather and his wife, which would be my step-grandmother, when I was 6 and when I was 8, and I remember having such a good time on those trips that I'm willing to go to a lot of effort to get my kids out to visit my parents if that's something they want to do. And my daughter went a couple years and then decided she didn't want to go anymore, though who knows, maybe she'll decide she wants to go again sometime. And this year my son was old enough that he got to go, so I hope that he will have more of the pleasant experience like my daughter had on her first trip than the less engaged experience she got from them on her second trip. We will find out. Okay, who knows if there's enough light for you to actually see me, but I am on the road. It is 9:25. A nice flight. Everything was on time. We actually got in about 15 minutes early, so that was nice. I got in my car about the time we should have landed, so never argue with a few minutes early, especially since I didn't argue too much about being a few hours late yesterday. So, I actually talked to the woman on my first leg today on the way to Denver. It's not normally my style to talk to people. I'm mostly a hermit, but she kind of initiated the conversation, and it turned out she was older and just needed somebody to talk to. She was 84. She said she'd never flown alone before. She had always had her husband of 53 years, and he had died about a year ago. So we just chatted. It was all small talk, nothing major. But she had lived in the Bay Area for quite some time, which is where my parents grew up, and then her daughter lived just outside of Sacramento. So we conversed for a little while about grandkids and kids and that type of stuff. And then second leg of the flight, I got to be more hermit style me. Just put my headphones on, and it was needed. There was a shocking number of kids on the plane. Not a complaint. I don't mind kids being on the plane. But for the fact that it was a landing at after 9 o'clock flight, I would say there was at least 7 kids under the age of 5 on the flight. Not really what I expect on a later flight like that, especially on a Wednesday evening, but I guess we are approaching a holiday weekend, so theoretically that plays into it. So anyways, I will be on the road for a little bit. I will have to stop and get gas. I will probably do that once I get back in Kansas. When we first moved out here, gas was always way cheaper in Missouri. like 20 to 25 cents a gallon, but clearly they must have raised some taxes because now they're basically the same. And I might treat myself to a cup of coffee at the gas station. Not sure about that yet. Depends on how I am feeling a half hour into the drive. And maybe there will be a little story time with Steve at the gas station. So as I was thinking about things, I thought, you know, I gave such credit to my grandpa and his wife for having me and my cousins up to visit them. And I realized I should point out that my dad's parents were divorced, and so it was his dad and his second wife. And then my dad's mom also had my brother and I to visit her. I think I was probably around 7 or 8. I could have been slightly younger. And I actually it's probably one of my favorite visits I ever had with her. We didn't always have the greatest relationship. And it was one of those ones that always kind of was the bigger problem was the relationship my dad had with her. I had a much better relationship with her when it was just me, or just me and my brother. And so we went and stayed with her for a weekend when my parents went on a vacation, and she took us to the beach, and I think we might have gone to the Monterey Bay Aquarium that time. I know we went to an aquarium. I feel like we went to Santa Cruz on the trip. And so maybe there is a Santa Cruz aquarium. I would have to look that up to know. Or we went down to Monterey on a separate day. So I don't remember that part for sure, but she took us to Great America, and we had a good time, though it was kind of funny because she has never been somebody that has a very good concept of time to begin with. And so she'd be like, why don't you go on like 3 rides and then we'll meet to do something? And we'd be like, okay, that sounds good. She'd be like, okay, I'll see you in like 45 minutes. Which, if you've ever been to Great America or any amusement park, most lines are not 15 minutes long. They are significantly longer than that. So it would be like, okay, that sounds good. And then we'd come back and meet her after having gone on 1 ride. So anyways, it was very enjoyable, and the thing that I remember the most, though, out of it is it was a very her thing. We had been at the beach, and we decided we were going to go out to dinner, and so we go into a restaurant, and she asked how long the wait was going to be, and I think it was going to be 45 minutes, or something like that. And she's like, oh no, that's way too long. We're way too hungry for that. We can't eat here. So she's like, but we're gonna go change in the bathroom. So we went and changed our clothes in the bathroom at that restaurant. And she is, again, not a speedy person by any means. So she probably took maybe 10 or 15 minutes in the bathroom changing. And then we spent about 20 minutes walking to a different restaurant that then was not nearly as good. Or I shouldn't say it wasn't as good, because it was still a very good restaurant, but it was not nearly as crowded. And it wasn't crowded, I think, because they did not have very good servers. So anyways, the whole moral of the story was that I am fairly certain that if we had just stayed at the busy restaurant, we would have gotten our food equally as fast, maybe faster. But she was just so sure that this restaurant, it was called Holby's, had just saved our lives because of how much faster we got our food, which wasn't really much faster. So anyways, I got my gas, the tank is full, and I am headed for home.
Well, it is about midnight, and I'm just sitting here. Steve should be home soon-ish. I just finished cleaning a bunch of stuff up in the kitchen, and the shame. I have my first shameful thing of the year when it comes to the garden. I let a bucket of tomatoes go bad. I know it's bad. I don't want to hear about it. It happens. Sometimes it happens a lot. I'm going to attempt this year to not let it happen very often, but there were some that went bad, and yeah, it's not the greatest, but cleaned everything up. I took stock of everything I have that needs to be used. I have some tomatoes. I know they're going to pick tomatoes tomorrow, and I assume some of them are going to be ready to deal with, like, right away, because they haven't been picked in a few days. And I have some Magda squash to eat in the next couple of days. I have some cucumbers to deal with. There's only, like, 4 cucumbers, so I'll probably just make, like, slicers, which are basically, like, tomato, or refrigerator pickles. And then I have a bunch of scallop squash. I think I have enough that tomorrow, I think I'm going to try and make scallop squash pickles. Because I think I have enough to make that happen. And we've been eating the scallop squash pickles all year long, so I need to replenish my supply. But right now, I'm sitting here working on this new thing. This is that ribbing I showed you the other night. Well, now I'm this far, so I've done a lot. But I'll probably get some more of this done, and then, I don't know, I'll probably go to bed when Steve gets home, because I'm very tired. Dance was fine. It was long. There were way fewer parents there, which was nice. It was because it was an older class, so most of those kids just get dropped off or come directly from school or wherever. As opposed to the other days have the younger kids' classes, and so a lot of the parents, you know, bring them and then stay, which just... thanks for a lot of people. However, I did get to deal with a lot of tweens, which is always funny because they're a special beast. I was once one. I didn't like tweens when I was one, so not my favorite people now, but, you know. We went to Wendy's to celebrate my daughter's first day of dance because I had taken her brothers. We decided we should go, plus, you know, since one of them's off having fun, the others want to do fun things too. So, we went to Wendy's, which was fine. However, there was a tour bus that apparently just pulled up when we got there, which was super weird. And so, we're standing there, and I'm standing at, like, the counter with, like, the little computery things where you order the registers. And there's, like, some older women, mostly, milling around the, like, counter area. And I'm in the middle of ordering, like, she's still, like, checking me out, and I'm getting the money out of my purse, and the person's starting to, like, hand me my cups, because at Wendy's, they give you your cups first, and then they, like, put a little tray on the counter, they start building your order, like, right there. And this lady who's just, like, pushed up to the counter next to me is like, I'm on a bus, and we're running late, and can you just help me right now, before you finish hers? And the person's like, no, I can help you. And she's like, well, I want this, and I know what I want, and blah, blah, blah. And the person was very nice. Like, the person that was working there dealt with it. The lady was just so rude. And I just basically ignored her and was polite to the cashier and went about my business. But, like, there are lines for a reason. And at first I thought maybe we got there after the bus of people. Like, maybe she was the last one. No, she was the first person in off the bus. After us, there was an entire line of people from this bus. So it wasn't like this lady wasn't going to get her food. She was just apparently hangry and rude. So, anyways, it was a good lesson for my children because they were like, afterwards, basically thought she was rude and that was inappropriate behavior. And that's good that they recognize that so that they will not act that way. Okay, I'm going to go and work on my sweater some more. See, I told you he'd be back.
I'm here. I made it.
You're standing right in front of the light. Move your dome to the left. Or my left. There you go. Oh, there you go. Okay, now I can see you. How was your flight?
It was good.
Good. How was being home?
Even better. So, based on when the flights were booked, I'd hoped I would get home right around midnight, and what is it, 12:03?
That sounds right to me.
Let's see what the...
Oh, are you going to check your smartphone?
12:13.
Oh, wow, that is so large.
I know, I've never had a phone this big before.
You've never had a wallet that big.
That's true.
I don't think I've... anything that large, I think I've only seen him carry in a backpack. Like, let's be real. But... you're one of us now.
I am. I have crossed to the other side.
Okay. Do you want to say nighty-night to the vlog?
Nighty-night.